Good evening and welcome to the fourth round of F2 in the Formula Racing League. Tom Kenshaw, commentator for tonight. We have 12 drivers rowing to go for 2 races, but before that we have one-shot qualifying to determine the feature race grid. So we're just waiting for the drivers to choose their setups. It's going to be a night event, which is nice to see around the streets of Monte Carlo. So the one-shot qualifying will get underway in around about 20 seconds' time. As far as the championship is concerned, Arjun leads the way on 196 points. He is 75 ahead of Jackson. I don't think either of them are involved tonight. So Rosie, who's in third place on 108, has a golden chance of clawing her way back into contention for the championship. Right underway then for qualifying. We'll go on board with... Let's go on board with Rosie, why not? If I can find her, of course. So Rosie on her lap. Coming in towards Mirabeau. Towards Portier. She is ahead of everyone so far. She touches the wall there, but nothing too harmful to the car. So coming through the swimming pool chicane. Into Lara Scass. Into Anthony Nose. And she's going to go over the line. And she'll be second on the grid, I would think. Because Orange and Gamma will take the 4 points. And he'll start the feature race from pole position. Now Orange and Gamma, who came into the round with 26 points to his name, will add 4 to that already tonight. So Orange and Gamma lines up on pole position with Rosie alongside, and it's Green Pies and Redstone Derp on the second row. Vintage and Winfield are next on row 3, followed by Jay Hartnell and Wild Dog. Vamu and Slow Coach ran out the top 10, with Leppy 11th and Swanshanks the only driver not to complete his lap, and will therefore start from 12th and last. So at the moment with Rosie, Winfield and Swanshanks, the top 3 at the moment who are competing tonight. Don Arjun not around, and neither is Jackson. And we're hoping some good racing here around Monaco. There's a mandatory pit stop involved. The pit window won't open until lap 3. So if any drivers do suffer damage, they may have to wait a couple of laps or something before they do decide to pit in. And it's a wet race as well. So that adds another mix into it. Remember in Canada a couple of weeks ago, there was the climax in the sprint race where Rosie, who stayed out there on the wet as the track was trying out, but Jackson fought back and won the race by overtaking her on the last lap. Now can Rosie get a good haul of points? And remember, the point system in F2 in the Formula Racing League is different to real life F2. In the feature race, it's 40 points for a race win, 32 for second, 26 for third, right the way down to 15th place, although we've got only 12 in for tonight. And the sprint race, the point system works differently. 30 points for a race win, 24 for second and 19 for third. We'll keep you involved later in the event as to who will gain what in terms of points. So whilst We watch all the drivers go around on the formation lap. No need to know who is on what in terms of tyres. They were all starting on the wets. There's no intermediate tyre in F2. So in terms of how to get around the corners will be tricky for the drivers because there's no standing water around. So finding the grip wherever they can will be very tricky, as Orange and Gamma discovers as he goes to Portier. So as far as the calendar is concerned, we've had Bahrain, Canada and Japan. Monaco is tonight. Next week we go to Australia, Mexico and then Silverstone, running out September. China will play host to round 8. And then the next 3 rounds after that are expected to be the DLC circuit. So we are expecting the likes of Portimao, Imola and Jeddah to be amongst that. And the last round of the championship will be in Singapore on the 3rd of November. So it's a 12-round championship for Formula 2 in the Formula Racing League. So Orange and Gamma just slowing himself down. He's got quite a distance actually over the others, so he won't want to be waited on the grid for too long. So Rosie backing the field up as well. Those are the 2 Giroux drivers, Leppy and Swanshanks, aiming to get through the field. At the end of the race, the top 8 finishers get reversed for the sprint race grid. So there's that to take into account. Orange and Gamma on pole, Rosie alongside. Can Orange and Gamma reignite his championship hopes? There's still quite a long way to go yet in the championship, but not too much time to fall behind as the 5 red lights come on here in Monaco. And we are on the way for the sprint race, or the feature I should say, here in Monaco. Rosie getting off the line better than Orange and Gamma, and she's going to take the lead into Sandefort, does she? But Orange and Gamma is fighting back, but Rosie's got more momentum on the exit, and so she's into the lead. It's Orange and Gamma in 2nd place, it's Green Pies 3rd, Redstone Derp in 4th position, with Winfield, Famu, Vintage, Leppy, Wild Dog in 9th, ahead of Jay Hartnell, Slow Coach and Swanshanks. And I think Orange and Gamma's just got back into the lead because he's now in front of Rosie as they exit Casino Square. Someone's had an off at Casino Square. That's Jay Hartnell in the other HWA car. And the top 3 battle amongst themselves. And there's the Dams of Green Pies getting involved. Makes contact with Orange and Gamma and Rosie, but doesn't appear to be too much damage on the car. And so they are through safely. Orange and Gamma struggling to get the power down. Exiting Portier. And now they're going to go through the tunnel. Oh, contact with the wall, therefore. Orange and Gamma won't want to be making the contact with the wall too much like that. And Redstone Derp, oh dear, that's too sloppy that from Redstone Derp. He's sent Green Pie spinning. And that is surely a penalty coming his way. If it doesn't come in this race, there'll be a penalty for him afterwards. 3 drivers have been penalised in the race now. Make that 4 because Jay Hartnell's been penalised for corner cutting. Orange and Gamma, 5 seconds given to him. Vintage and Slow Coach have 3 seconds each for track limits. Yeah, I mean, that was really, really silly that from Redstone Derp. It came from way too far back to make a move down the inside on Green Pies, and he's falling down the order. So we're on lap 2. Someone's gone off in sector 1. It's the Pramer of Winfield. The car is ghosted. But he's back on track now, and that's the Chiruza Swanshanks going into the wall. I don't know if he got put off actually by the Pramer that was just coming back onto the track. We'll go back to the front then as Orange and Gamma holds position ahead of Rosie. And Green Pie's moving back in front of Vintage for 4th position. I wonder if Vintage has made a mistake somewhere. Vamu ahead in 3rd position as we watch the top 2 go through the tunnel for the 2nd time in this race. Rosie's struggling to get the car slowed down. Looks like one of the dams has gone off its green pies, but he's been penalised for corner cutting. And surely Redstone Derp has been given the same penalty. Well, he's given 5 seconds actually for corner cutting, as is Wild Dog. Drivers need to learn to slow down when coming through the Nouvelle chicane. So the drivers approaching the end of lap 2. And there'll be a new fastest up of the race. It'll be Orange and Gamma, I should think. It's Rosie who has it. Orange and Gamma going in too deep into Thunderbot. Rosie's right behind still. And someone's gone off in sector 3. It's Slow Coach at the Anthony Nose corner. So Wild Dog in the pits for a new front wing. So that'll be him needing to come in again because he's pitted at the end of lap 2 and not lap 3. Swanshang's struggling to get the car slowed down, and the drivers are struggling in these conditions. Green Pies looking to make a move on the ART of Vamu, and Orange Gamma gets penalised again for track limits. So that's 8 seconds worth he's got now. I suppose the only consolation for him is that he would only lose 1 position as it stands. So Rosie, Winfield, the latest to be penalised. So Orange Gamma cuts in the corner. 13 seconds worth of time penalty now for him. And someone's off in sector 2. It's the Campos of Slow Coach, I think, is just going through the hairpin of lows. Redstone Derp in 6th. Making slight contact with the wall there, but nothing too dramatic. And Orange Gamma into the pits. And I think he's out of the race. He's calling it. I'm quite surprised at that because he's got quite a comfortable margin over Vamu, who's in 3rd place. So Orange Gamma not going any further. So Rosie out on her own in the race lead. Wild Dog gets continuing to get penalised for track limits. Wild Dog has the most out of those who are still running now. 9 seconds it is. But now we're watching the battle for 2nd place as Green Pies dives to the inside of Vamu into Mirabeau. Does he make the move state? Not quite. He clouded the wall as he was trying to go past and slides his way past the ART. And Green Pies goes up into 2nd place. Vamu gets a time penalty now. So only 2 drivers do not have time penalties at all in this race. They are Rosie and Leppy. And Redstone Derp has now got another 3 seconds worth. He's now on 8. Someone's had a moment in sector 1. That'll be Wild Dog at the back. So Vamu in 3rd place. Approaching Green Pies. And Leppy's now penalised for his misdemeanour, which means Rosie's the only driver now who does not have a time penalty. Winfield passing Redstone Derp to go up into 5th position. Next one up from him is Leppy. Wild Dog comes into the pits. That's the 2nd time he's come in. He's putting soft tyres on. I'm not sure that's the right compound, to be honest with you, because the track is still soaking. Rain is coming down. The DRS hasn't been enabled yet, so I can't think why he'll be fitting in for soft tyres now. So Rosie puts a lap on the car limp, and Wild Dog knows that he is on the wrong tyres. Vamo just keeping his ART out of the wall. He struggles to get the power down as well. Now the rain is still continuing to fall, but it's only slight drops. There's no way Wild Dog is on the right tyres though. And Green Pies goes through to put a lap on him. So Rosie enters to back. So Wild Dog continues to get penalised for corner cutting. It's going to be penalties galore by the time this race is done. Rosie doesn't feel she's in the need to be coming in for tyres yet. So Winfield is behind Leppy in the fight for 4th position. As we watch Swanshanks go past Vintage and up into 7th. And Hartnell's gone past Vintage before they get to Casino Square. So 11 seconds is the margin between Rosie and Green Pies. And Green Pies with a new fastest up of the race. That'll be 2 championship points going his way. I think the rain's pretty much stopped now. And that's Wild Dog who's gone for a spin at the swimming pool chicane. Gets going eventually. Rosie looking very, very comfortable at the moment. Swanshanks with a time penalty now, taking his total to 6. Rosie Renew fastest at 1 minute 34.4 now. What can Green Pies respond here? I don't think it's going to be as quick, so yeah, he's lost a second on Rosie on this lap alone. And Leppy's broken his front wing at Sundefot. He'll struggle with the handling, and Redstone Dirt will go past him. So I think Leppy will be off into the pits shortly. This is Wingfield and Vamu continuing to fight over third place. Wingfield's been catching Vamu at a rate of knots. And Redstone Dirt gets penalised again for corner cutting. Mod Dog gets overtaken again. His front wing's been damaged, so that'll be him off into the pits. Now, through the first part of the lap, the track seems to be dry through there, but it's just when Rosie exits the tunnel, it seems to still be wet somehow. Redstone Derp into the pits to serve some of his penalty. And the pit crew will go to work and put on what I think should be a set of slicks for him. Is anyone... Oh no, he's going on wets again. It's Redstone Dirt. Redstone Dirt is just being penalised now for corner cutting. He needs to stop doing that. So Rosie continuing to stay out on the full wets. Now on lap 11 out of 21. Green Pie's closing a little bit. Someone's gone off in sector 3. Who is that? Couldn't quite tell who it was. May have been Wild Dog again. Winfield thinking about a move on Vamu. So Rosie's lead over Green Pies is just coming down somewhat. Green Pies is on a very good lap. So Rosie enters the pits from the race lead. There's going to be slicks going on her car. Green Pies also making the switch. Vamu and Winfield into the pits as well. Green Pie's going on a set of the super softs. May as well take a gamble. He's going to have to go the next 10 laps on those. Strength goes up to third place. We can see Wild Dog continuing to have his own troubles. Let's send Dirt back into the pits. Sector 1 and 2. That'll be Wild Dog, who's just going through though rather slowly, the damage he's got. And Resto Derp has decided to call it quits from this race. So Rosie in the lead still. Green Pie's closing in as he's on the compound that's softer than what Rosie is on. Now DRS has not been enabled yet still. Green Pie's entering lows. It's got the gap down now to 9.3 seconds. I was just going to say, even if he does catch Rosie, he would need to pull out a 6-second margin on her in order to win this race. Rosie with a new fastest up of the race, but I think that's going to be beaten by Green Pies. It's crossing over the line to place of 33.1. So Green Pies has taken a second out of Rosie on that last lap alone. And DRS has now finally been enabled. And Jay Hartnell cutting across the chicane, which means he gets a 3-second time penalty. That takes his total to 3 seconds. Green Pie's in second place still. He has lost ground on Rosie. She crosses over the line and it's going to be a 1:32.3 for her. So she's really winning the laps at the moment. Green Pie's time on this lap is a 1:32.7. So Green Pies' margin, well, Rose's margin has come back up again by 0.4. So Rosie leads with 7 laps remaining. Green Pies is second, with Van Moof third, Winfield fourth, Leppy fifth, Swanshank sixth, Jay Hartnell seventh, and Vintage, who's currently in eighth, would be on reverse grid pole for the sprint race. Green Pies getting the gap back down now. It's just under 9 seconds. He's got no traffic in front of him. To be honest with you, neither has Rosie. Rosie posting a new fast start. It's a 1:31.4. The track is clearly improving. 1:30.5 for Green Pies now. He really is very much finding some more time on those super soft tyres. Leppy getting penalised for track limits. That won't affect his race finishing position. So in Winfield, he gets penalised 3 seconds. It's in the same penalty as Van Moof now as well. Green Pies continuing to get penalised now. Jay Hartnell with the fastest lap in the HWA. Just got by Vintage into 6th position. Rosie takes back the fastest lap, but I think that's going to be beaten actually by Green Pies. 1:28.9. So Green Pies has taken 7/10 out of Rosie's gap. So 5 laps to go in the feature race. So Green Pies coming through the tunnel. He's going to make his way towards the Neufeld chicane. Car twitching as he goes past the kink. Swanshanks now with the fastest stop of the race in the Charoux. He's 28 seconds behind Winfield. He's got a big enough gap to keep hold of 5th ahead of Jay Hartnell, but he won't want to be dropping back too much. Moves with a new fastest up, 1:27.9 in the UNI Virtuosi. Green Pies' time is a 1:28.0. And someone's gone off in sector 1. Wild Dog has gone off into the runoff area of Sandevot. I think he's lost more of his front wing, so he may want to just come into the pits and retire. So Rosie in brilliant form at the moment as Wild Dog continues to her own. Swanshanks with a new fastest lap. 1 minute 27 point. Well, I was going to say 1 minute 27.3, but that's now Jay Hartnell's. Which surely mean that Rosie's on a even better time here. There's a 1:27.2. Fastest up for the race for her. Green Price didn't get the best of exits coming out of Sundevot. 1:27.3 for him. Most Endeavour seems to have left the session, but I hope he does come back in time for the sprint race. Otherwise his car will end up being controlled by the AI. So one of the Giroux's cars has gone for a spin. That's Swanshanks. So Wild Dog getting another 3 seconds worth of time penalty added, taking his total to 24. So Hartnell posting the new fast start, 1 minute 27.0. So Rosie over the line, it's going to be a 1:26.0. And Green Pies, who's further behind, it's a 1:26.4. I think he lost time in the last sector, despite being that as his fastest lap. It's not the fastest up of the race overall. On the penultimate lap of this race, Rosie leads, Green Pie seconds. Vamo looking good for a podium in third. Jay Hartnell up to fourth now for HWA. Incident in sector 3, and Wild Dog's just moving out of the way to let cars are lapping and go through, and I think that's his front wing gone as well. Jay Hartnell with a new fastest lap. Rosie entering the last corner, and she will begin her final lap of the feature race. 1 minute 25.1 for her. Green Pies will be down on that, I should imagine. 1 minute 25.5. It's still his best lap of the race, but Rose has just been far too quick today in the feature. She puts another lap on Wild Dog. So Rosie, since Orange Gamma went out of the race, she's been controlling the race from the front. Didn't know whether she'd be able to cope with Monaco, but she has done tonight. And Vamu with a time penalty that won't affect his race finishing position. So entering the last couple of corners, Jay Hartnell posts a new fastest lap. Made that Swanshanks. But Rosie is coming round now. The last few turns. And she's going to take the feature race victory here in Monaco in the Formula Racing League. Rosie wins on the streets of Monte Carlo. Gets the fastest up of the race to go with that. We'll wait to see whether anyone will take that away from her. Green Pies will come home in second place.